if they can do that again against a little bit more of an explosive team in Vitality. Draft-wise, Draven, Karma, Irelia, Sejuani taken off the table. Attila does have Draven banned towards him a lot, and now Xayah joins the pool as well.
The Xayah as well. Vitality were willing to first pick that Xayah when they were on blue side in yesterday's game against G2, but typically when you look at the Vitality bottom lane, even though Mowgli doesn't always play through them, they draft very aggressive lanes. This is where we first saw the fiddlestick support here in the LEC. It was with Jactroll on that type of a champion, whereas Excel usually play a little bit more defensive in that bottom lane, especially with the champion's Mystiques searches.
Yeah, definitely the case. So Mystiques and Jeskla have been two of the players that have helped solidify this XL roster. Since joining and since locking in the 5-man team for XL.
Okay, stop it, guys. We don't want the Garen, okay?
Did you guys not see Ender's breakdown of Garen? The takeaway was,
Garen is terrible. He's so bad.
Can I get an agreement here? Garen sucks.
Garen sucks.
Berlin, Garen sucks. That's what I was hoping for. Nevertheless, Jarvan is what was locked in. Need a few more security guards around just in case. Lucian is the response. You talked about how Vitality like to play aggressive bottom lanes. The Lucian is definitely one signal to go towards that plan.
Yeah, they also gonna lock in the Akali alongside it as well, so it's not gonna be the same scaling marksman pick in the mid lane. We've seen Jiizuke go for a couple of times here, been on the Corki Tristana duty recently, but instead maybe wants to pop off here and assert a little dominance over Mickey.
Now, the one thing I just sort of thought about was this denial of the Jarvan pick. Both Mowgli and Cabo have played it a fair amount, and I like how Vitality have flexed that between themselves. So I think this is a pretty good steal away, and it can go to Expect or Caedrel, and it fits what you were looking for, either a playmaker top or jungle.
Yeah, I really like it here for Caedrel in particular. Would love to see him on that champion. Also, based on how the draft is playing out so far, we expect Vitality to pick up a support as their third pick, which then allows Excel to ban away the Lee Sin, which alongside the Jarvan has been Mowgli's go-to. He's gone for that champion 3 times in a row now, and he's certainly looked at home on the pick, so Excel could just try to slash that off the board.
Now, the question I'm going to have about Vitality and Akali, unless my memory mistakes me, they've not played this champion at all, and I've just double-checked the stats. So do you think this is going to land in Jiizuke's wheelhouse or Cabo? I mean, Jiizuke.
I would really like to see it here on Jiizuke, especially up against that Corki matchup. You do have the ability to try and outplay, especially later on inside lanes, and if you can bring some jungle attention around that lane. But the Yuumi is one of those picks that has snuck through the laning phase, and they're just going to put that on Attila here to empower the Lucian to step forward and take trades in lane.
And also like the combination with Akali as well. If they want to jump into any of those fights, really chase down. It helped GenX and SK Gaming just moments ago. Tahm, Kench, Corki, Jarvan was XL's first draft priorities, or first phase rather, and now we're entering the bans.
Yeah, I think if Excel continue to draft this way, we'd like to see Expect on something that could go into a side lane and have pretty big impact there, because when you have a Tahm Kench and that global ability as well as a Corki, that's a very strong split pusher as well, so you can definitely pick a relatively safe bait to carry in the mid lane for Jeskla. Maybe even Ashe would love to see alongside that Tahm Kench and play that full map style.
I mean, Jeskla has played Ashe twice. He's undefeated on the champion, and Lee Sin denied from Mowgli.
Yep, love to see that taken away here. Again, the read against Vitality. They love to get the Lee Sin for Mowgli, but it's very often a second rotation pick for them.
And of course, that means it's denied. I'm looking with Jarvan taken off the field, Sejuani taken off the field. I mean, would you run Olaf? Not really a great idea.
I mean, I think Mowgli would be happy to run the Olaf. You have a Yuumi alongside you as well, so there's definitely playmaking ability on that type of a champion. Maybe even a Gragas could be an option as well against a champion like the Tahm Kench. Having that displacement effect could be very powerful.
Yeah, and of course, the Jarvan as well, you know, going to be able to just get people outside that Cataclysm if required. The last ban here from XL before we start to lock down the rest of this rotation. So on the side of Vitality, counter pick going to be for Cabochard most likely. We would assume the jungle gets locked in next, and it's Elise that is once again denied from Mowgli. So when I look down, champions played Gragas and Olaf. The only two that are open that he has played already, unless we see something new.
Yeah, I'm sort of expecting to see the Gragas here. They do need some form of hard engage. Right now, you're not going to be getting that out of the mid lane or the bottom lane because they went for the Yuumi. It becomes a lot harder for that sort of play to be made. And even in team fights, if you put a Yuumi on top of that Gragas, the cast doesn't even have to be perfect. You can use that tankiness to try and enter into a fight for that large CC.
And also what I like, the Gragas ultimate in combination with these very mobile champions, Lucian and Akali, they would love to displace a 5v5 death ball and pick off individual targets. use the ability to dash and duck around. Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Ezreal locked in for Jeskla.
Yep, safe bot lane here for Excel. I wonder if Expect wants to maybe go for the Renekton himself up in the top lane. He does not know what matchup he's going to be against. The Aatrox could be another strong option here in terms of blind pickable options with his signature Rumble, but that has been his go-to blind pick banned away.
Yeah, of course, removed from the table. It's going to be another playmaker. The thing that I like, though, Ender, you said you wanted to see some playmaking champions. You wanted to see the ability for Caedrel to carry. He's got Corki, he's got that. Mickey. Caedrel and Expect on the playmakers with a Jarvan and an Aatrox. That is a terrifying combination.
I like this here if they go ahead and lock it in. The Akali can have a pretty solid matchup up into the Aatrox in the top lane. The mobility makes it very hard for him to trade against you. You can use the quick spam trades where you just pop into your shadow and you know, take a lot of good HP trades without dealing any damage back to yourself.
So what you're saying is it was a Cabochard champion after all.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't see it in my head being a Jiizuke kind of champion. It's too traditional as far as your assassins.
I'm like, wait a second. Jiizuke plays like every melee champion in the game. He plays Talon, he plays Echo.
Non-traditional is what I was trying to get at. And look, the proof is in the pudding, young man, because the Akalis with Cabochard. So look, talk about the rest of this comp now. Dual ADC, Akali top, Yuumi. It's not something we see a lot. What do you make of it?
It's really interesting, too, because usually when you have double ADC, Yuumi isn't the option that you want in this type of composition. Maybe you want a Braum or an Nala, some beefier front line that can try and buy space for your backline. Instead, what they went for is this Yuumi and then two mobile AD carries with pretty decent self-heal on that Tristana ultimate as well. So these fights aren't necessarily going to be full front to back. They're going to be a little bit more scrappy, I feel.
Well, let's see what XL can do. Undefeated in the last 3 games. Will they make it 4 against Vitality? I may have fired a bit quickly on the hype before that video. Apologies, team. Just to give you a quick stat update. I love the chant. I think the song sucks. But this is the first ever professional game for Cabochard on Akali and the first Akali for Vitality all summer. So I want to keep a close eye on how it's going to perform. Akali versus Aatrox is a matchup I think I've seen in the mid lane a few times, and now it's been transported top. So Caedrel and Mowgli, will they want to get involved and try to dissuade either? And that's what we'll see in the next few minutes.
Yeah, I think it's hard to expect maybe a lot of attention given up there early on into the game, but the idea around this Akali is especially post-level 6, you do have some sort of kill threat, especially with the Conqueror as well. You know you're going to be taking these longer trades up against the Aatrox because both these champions are going to be bringing a lot of healing in towards the matchup, and then eventually you just continue to outscale and do very well into both the Aatrox as well as the Corki.
Okay, so let's take a look at where they're starting. Gragas for Mowgli starting on his red buff. Caedrel on his Sentinel, Brambleback correction, as now he's making his way top. So red straight into the North Quadrant.
Yeah, so this is something we'll see, you know, Gragas versus Jarvan, where Jarvan looks to make earlier plays than the Gragas. His level 2 is much stronger than the Gragas, who typically needs to wait for level 3. Unfortunately, he's going to be spotted on this ward, and Jiizuke should be able to skill the W as well, so this gank should just never work.
Yeah, Rocket Jump plus Flash already sitting with Jiizuke. Very good ward from Vitality. Allows Mowgli to clear out its Krugs camp safely, comfortably, and well aware. And actually, if you look at really a lot of these lanes, there are so many tools in every single lane to escape a gank. A lot of mobility, a lot of safety tools. in the kit, so vision and timing of when you go in is going to be crucial if you want to make it work.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty hard to make a lot of plays in the early game for either of these two junglers. Now, looking at the two players' paths, now because they started on opposite sides of the jungle, usually you expect them to end their clears on opposite sides of the jungle as well, but instead, because Caedrel went for the buff-to-buff approach, he's also going to be pathing down towards his bottom side of the map to be down towards bottom lane around the time Mowgli might be looking for a play himself. Now, with Mowgli, because he went for the Predator, we see this a lot where you clear those 3 camps on your red buff side of the jungle, you look for a base to pick up those boots so that you can maybe find an early play. Even if your lanes don't have great CC, you can close the gap with the Predator, you can definitely make something happen.
Yeah, and of course, when you combine the damage, either, you know, the Trist, the Akali, etc., it does a lot of work. Caedrel really committed to this. Rocket jump forward! Jiizuke, what was that? He gets some damage on the Mickey, not enough for the kill. Ignite continues to burn. Rocket jumps out to safety. Here comes Mowgli.
Yeah, Mowgli has the Predator as well, so he can come and force Caedrel out of the area. Mowgli, you get a reset on your W if you fully stack your E, your bomb with those auto attacks. So he all-in so that he could have that extra mobility.
The 2000 IQ play. I really thought Jiizuke was going down, but showing some mastery over Tristana.
Yeah, definitely able to get out by the skin of his teeth there. Now, unfortunately for him, he loses his flash and his ignite, so a lot of the kill threat in that lane, and the confidence to step forward is not going to be there. But we get one more chance to see this because he actually commits with W. He sees it after Caedrel went in, so he's like, I'm going to dump my bomb on him, I'm going to try and get this extra auto attack, then flash over the wall and get the W to respond after Caedrel follows. He also knows Mowgli, with that early reset, can respond.
This is actually a really good play, especially if you're a Vitality fan. Seeing Jiizuke this early on playing that well bodes well. Expect looks for the solo kill, may get some support from Caedrel. Very good flash from Cabo gets him to safety. Now Mickey's arrived as well.
Yeah, Mickey just trying to hunt out for Cabochard, but he thinks he's over in this bush. He might be able to get out.
All right, let's see. Recall! Gonna get interrupted. First blow was picked up in the bottom lane somehow as Mickey secures the kill. Assist to Caedrel. 2 of the most aggressive bottom laners in the league go toe-to-toe.
Yeah, so both of these junglers went for the same play where they loop around through the enemy jungle and try to find a gank from behind the tower there. It was Mickey in the top lane, and then if you get to see what Mowgli did down bottom side, he went all the way through the enemy jungle, comes up behind here on towards Mystiques, gets the stun down on towards Mystiques as well, and the ignite goes through the shield. It ticks down just in time.
So Mowgli as well as Caedrel getting a kill each respectively for their team. Whereas Vitality hold the gold lead for now. The kill was secured mid lane for Mickey, and it was the support. It was Jactroll with that ignite. So a little bit more preferential in the XL camp. And XL right now, one of the things I wanted to mention is in the 3 games that they have won over the last week and a half, they have looked fairly impressive. If you look at their goal difference at 15 in their wins, plus 2,700. And what I find interesting is that is the 4th highest goal difference at 15 in wins. It is obviously a very minute number, 3. And in fact, the team that is 3rd is Vitality. So I want to see how these next few minutes play out, because when XL do get ahead, they have been pretty good in the early game, and recently they've shown they can convert that to wins.
Yeah, and a lot of that is driven, I feel, primarily from Caedrel in the jungle and Expect up top lane. Now, on a champion like the Aatrox, I think it's going to be a little bit harder for Expect to have the same level of influence over the rest of the map as you would on, say, the likes of a Rumble in the top lane. But yeah, Caedrel on this J4 should definitely be looking to continue plays around the lanes that are lacking flashes at the moment.
Okay, let's see where Caedrel goes. Quick reminder that the final game of the day is Fnatic versus G2. Big Papa himself will be tri-casting that with Dracos and VODS. Be sure to tune in. And it's a little later in the day. And Caedrel, in terms of laning, where he can go, no flash available. He's just cleared out the Gromp. He's got a little while to go before he hits the Cataclysm. Let's see whether there's any lane, whether there's opportunities available to him, because Mowgli in a similar position, working towards that cast.
Yeah, Mowgli's about a half level down over Caedrel, though, because when those 2 jungle plays happened, I believe Caedrel was able to maybe steal away the Krug camp on the top side of the map, so Mowgli a little bit behind in terms of overall EXP's dead.
Get wrecked. Absolutely wrecked. I mean, Jiizuke, he's looked great already.
Yeah, the all-in there, a whole lot of damage. Was just waiting for his ignite to come back up there. The Tristana does so much in these burst trades. It's one of the reasons we've been seeing it a lot as an answer into this Corki, whereas Corki, you know, he doesn't have a big impact ultimate. He doesn't have that huge burst damage until a little bit later in the game. Tristana comes online a little bit earlier.
Oh man, welcome back to the LEC, Jiizuke.
Yeah, let's see what happens here. He puts the bomb down onto the tower. Does he get the explosion on that as well for a little bit of extra damage? I believe he does, but bot lane.
All right, flash away from Attila. Jactroll manages to escape for that. The Ignite is burning down. Mystiques in trouble. Needs to pop the Grey Health. Look at the minimap. There's a Predator. Here comes Mowgli. The fat man's making his way in. Flash body slam available. Not going to find the target. It may not matter. Mystique stays alive long enough. Mowgli sacrifices. Here comes Expect. Attila goes low. The true shot barrage, as well as the Dark Blade, sends Vitality packing.
Just when you say Expect couldn't find a way, he finds a way. They're on the flank TP, punishing Vitality as they try to turn it around. Once again, Excel with an early lead.
Unbelievable. The teleport was fantastic. I really thought Mowgli running in was going to make the difference, but I don't think he found the target with that body slam. And look at how scared Mickey is in the mid lane, playing so far back. The threat of Jiizuke's damage is very, very high.
Cabochard was able to respond up in the top lane, punishing the teleport there from Expect. He wasn't able to follow himself, but he does have a considerable CS lead as well as 2 plates. Now, in this Alienware replay, we see that Caedrel is able to catch them both out, but Jactroll uses the W to get back in towards Vitality. It's at this point where they say, we can counter gank this. There's no mana on Caedrel, Mystiques is low, we have our Predator Gragas coming in, but they do not respect the TP advantage for XL. They overcommit here, very low on HP bars, and the Mowgli, he has to try and find the kill. They don't have the summoner spells to try and escape. It becomes a very easy cleanup for the XL top lane.
Such a good sidestep from Mystiques as well. Gets out of range. I think that body slam bop would have just been enough to kill him. And XL, 4 kills to 2, 2-0-1 on Jeskla's Ezreal. Expect getting the kill and the assist after expending the TP's great. And Mickey, will he go down again? Buster shot used just to get rid of Mickey.
Yeah, Jiizuke keeps trying to take these trades where he puts the bomb down on the tower so he can get those auto attacks down and try to use the AoE to smash Mickey a little bit. Now, does end up taking a couple of tower shots there, so the trade is even overall, but both junglers now playing around this lane. Now, Box.
Oh man, Jactroll and Attila doing so much work. It feels like Jeskla and Mystiques are being pushed back in the duo, but support from Caedrel's been great. Cataclysm comes out and that forces the flash.
Yeah, Jiizuke gonna have to flash away here, and Mowgli was trying to make a play down bottom lane, but now because he doesn't have mid lane control, this becomes a whole lot more risky. I think the play might just have to be to escape, but they may be overcommitting here.
Mystiques and Jeskla both have flash available. Tongue Lash will slow Mowgli. Look at the mini-map though. Mickey is making his way down, and so is Caedrel. Cataclysm's on cooldown. Mowgli's gonna escape for now. Here comes Yuumi. Yuumi on Mowgli. It's a tongue twister for me. But they managed to escape and nothing happens.
Yeah, Mowgli also had the ultimate there, so in case XL were trying to commit, he could have probably knocked them on out of here.
Good damage. Does Cabo go any further? Not just yet. Expect still has some damage to play with. Falling behind in CS fairly significantly, nearly 30 in that top lane.
Yeah, and that's across all lanes at the moment. It's the reason why Vitality continue to have a lead in terms of overall gold. Both individual lanes are pulling ahead in terms of CS, but also turret plates very widely in the favor of Excel here, or Vitality rather, as they have a lot of these pushing lanes with advantages early on.
Okay, so let's take a look then at what the next steps are going to be. We touched very early on about, Caedrel and Mowgli's impact in this game. It's been significant. There has been multiple ganks in multiple lanes. It's led to summoner spells being blown as well as several kills. But now we're entering a slightly more scary part of the game as the first items are starting to be picked up. So Caedrel has shown a penchant for helping out Mickey in the mid lane fairly frequently, because every time we come here, Jiizuke seems to have his number.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to see a lot, is just having the jungler around when you know the enemy laner wants to take aggressive trades against you, especially a player like Jiizuke, who we've seen constantly going forward in these plays. You definitely want to have the pressure around that side of the map. Now, Mickey's walking in to place a deep ward here to try and spot out if Mowgli is in the area, while Caedrel starts up this early Rift Herald. With Mowgli going over towards his Krug camp, actually maybe he senses out, maybe he goes and checks.
Let's take a look. Mowgli does have a control ward in his inventory, places that one down instantly. That'll get some vision. I'm looking if Jiizuke or Cabo are moving. They're not just yet, because Cabo's going to teleport in. He's gone to the tower. Rift Herald's going low. Look at the minimap. Mickey's now coming in from the south. Rift Herald is being turned away from. It's going to be helping out Vitality. Explosive
Hello?
helps out. Mowgli picks up the kill with the help of the Rift Herald. It is gift wrapped and packed package. Not done yet. Cabo jumps onto expect. Not able to use the perfect execution because it's on cooldown, but I thought he fancied a dive if it was up.
Yeah, Caedrel just goes in. Mowgli instantly one-shots him. Now Caedrel without a flash underneath the tower. Vitality are going to channel the Herald right now to try and get the damage down on the tower, just waiting for Cabochard's ult to come back up.
Okay, teleport is being channeled here. It is going to be Mickey joining the fight. Very big charge. Gives a lot of gold once again over to Cabo. And that's a teleport expended. Rift Herald lost, teleport lost, kill lost, and that's a great advantage for Vitality.
Yeah, it's 2 plates up top lane. Jiizuke also going to be able to get the 1 or 2 paw shots he needs to secure the gold for himself in the mid as well. Vitality continue to springboard ahead in terms of gold, you know? They're still pushing these lanes while while Excel were trying to make the aggressive play around the Rift Herald because they committed in when Caedrel was just going to get blown up. Now they lose so much.
Yeah, they really do. Tower first blood bonus, multiple plates. Is the heat in Berlin, and it's getting to both of us.
I just can't speak English anymore. I'm trying to say while like 4 different times.
Pretty detrimental to both of our jobs. But if you look at the minimap, not only did the top tower go down, 3 plates secured mid, 2 plates secured bottom, and this is a like question mark ping play if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, so Mowgli just ults him straight into the wall right there, drops another barrel auto attack, and then Rift Herald gets the last hit there. Of course, kill credit goes over towards Mowgli, but then they pick up the Herald pretty easily and are able to turn that into a full tower in the top lane.
Right, Caedrel's once again in the mid lane. Jiizuke 20 CS up. He's got the Bilgewater Cutlass and a couple of Doran's Blades. Rocket Jump and Buster Shot available as well, and a 2-level advantage over Caedrel. So it's so hard to get a kill in that scenario. We can kick away one threat and jump away from the other. And we actually, despite being 14 minutes into the game, haven't watched the 2v2 a lot. The times we've come down here is when there's been jungle ganks and there's been fights, but as it stands, plus 12 CS, I feel like Attila and Jactroll have sort of had the one-up as far as the duo is concerned, but it feels like XL's support has obviously allowed Jeskla to get the kills and a small gold lead.
Right, it's just been pretty quiet overall down there. Now you see the big difference in plates here. 9 plates to 1, and the 1 wasn't even gold worthy for XL. They weren't there. Now Vitality want to go in.
All right, Cabochard looking for the chase, turns to the tension for a second with a shuriken flip, and that was just so nicely done. Absolutely executing Caedrel in his jungle.
Instantly dies 1 more time right there. Vitality, it seems, you know, slow. They've only got 4 kills, but in the last couple minutes, being able to catch out Caedrel like this and now take full control over this jungle, deny the blue buff away from Mickey, they're going to be able to use Cabochard's pressure now and try to filter that into the mid lane. Now that the plates have gone down as well, they should be looking for a move there.
Yeah, absolutely. 3,000 gold, the lead. A lot more damage onto Mystiques and Jeskla. This tower's down to 50% HP. While the pressure's being put down bottom, Mickey's being jumped on. Here comes Mowgli, body slam, flash, and Cabo gets the last hit. That looked all too easy.
Now Expect was trying to come in on this flank right here, but they're always late to the punch. Mowgli is playing fast now that he has the confidence behind him, pairing up with Cabochard. This is what peak Vitality always looked like. It was Mowgli and Cabochard running around, killing the enemy top laner, running into the jungle, killing the enemy jungler, and just sort of blowing up the game from that area of the map.
I'm pretty confident Yuumi has not dealt 7,000 damage to champions.
You'd be surprised. Yuumi does a lot of damage.
Okay, stats team, can you verify that for me? This is correct. That's a phenomenal amount of damage. Actually, you know what I'd love to do? I need to take a look then at how much has happened from the skirmishes or just Jactroll kicking the crap out of Jeskla and Mystiques, because they seem to be winning the 2v2, and when Jactroll's doing 7,000 damage, that's probably why.
Okay, Yuumi is a little unfair when it comes to damage, because you never put yourself at risk. Your Q is basically an unmissable ability if you have lane priority, and the enemy team can't hide behind their creep wave, so I definitely believe this is a situation where Mystiques and Jeskla are just sort of sitting under their tower. Mystiques is like, hey, I've got my gray health, I can take this up, but that's still a very big number for the cat.
That counts as stat padding in my eyes, but it is working because the third tower has fallen. 5,000 gold advantage in favor of Vitality right now. And they're just in a very good spot. I mean, Gunblade picked up for Cabo, Blade of the Rune Kings for both Jiizuke and Attila, so they can really accelerate ahead thanks to the item advantage.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see sort of 3 lanes that all play off of this Cutlass itemization, because it basically means you can play through any of those matches. They're all so strong in their 1v1s that XL have to bring the numbers advantage if they want to beat them.
They do, and that little Valkyrie felt so disappointing. Gets a little missile barrage and Frost Bomb damage onto Vitality, but it really doesn't matter. Can Jiizuke insta-gib some folks? He's waiting in the bushes. expect maybe a little difficult to deal with is once again, here comes Jactroll, getting some good damage thanks to the use of the chapter and the culling from Attila as well. But they won't find any more, and Dragon hasn't been secured yet. We've had a lot of Cloud Drakes in our first 2 games of the day. So lower priority and not being picked up. And again, Jiizuke, he's just waiting. He's trying to get some good burst damage down.
Yeah, and you'll see Vitality will continue to bring players around him when he's pushing this wave into the tower, because Tristana can melt through these structures, and they always have to have that support ready immediately because of the threat of the Tahm Kench ult on the other side of the map. It makes playing side lanes a little bit more difficult here for Vitality, but I think they're actually slippery enough that it shouldn't be too much of a concern for them as we move further in this game.
Yeah, XL are falling further and further and further behind. That 3-game winning streak is at gigantic risk of being ended. And as it stands, Vitality now putting pressure into the jungle. So Caedrel gets chunked out for now. Jiizuke jumps on to expect, gets pulled back by the Umbral Chains. While that is happening, Mystique is in trouble, Infernal rather. Here comes a Valkyrie, that's with the bomb, throwing out the missile. Attila's going so low, he's picked up by Mickey. Now Mowgli's going to be the next target. He survives a few seconds longer with the help of Jactroll. It's another picked up for Mickey. Now he turns his attention as Cabo completes a teleport. Mickey and Caedrel left alone. Is there a tower dive? Not yet.
Cabochard with the triple kill, and does he want more? The rest of Vitality is low, and the minions aren't going to quite be here. He checks this bush, it could be bad.
Woo! That 5-point shuriken strike, not going to find his target just yet. But Cabo and the rest of Vitality, they come out in the betterment of the situation. They've challenged for vision, they've stolen the camps, and now they can put some chip damage on the tower as well.
Yeah, I was a little confused there. Excel opting into that fight in their side of the jungle with how strong Vitality are at the moment. 6k gold lead itemization coming on through here. And it starts off with Jiizuke, rather, forcing the flash and ultimate out of expect. He's completely out of this team fight, but they make the call because Cabochard is in the top lane for Mickey to go in for this fight. Mickey and Caedrel get a lot of work done on the bottom half of this, with Jiizuke jumping into the rest of them, but Cabochard's TP in was able to pick up 3 kills rather easily.
Really nicely done. He's currently 5-1, by the way.
First time, by the way.
Shoes, Morella, Nomicon, his first ever professional game. And you look at the team fight damage, that's where you get 3 kills from.
Yeah. Yuumi damage not looking too hot now, is it, Trev?
No, it's not. I'm less excited about the team fight damage. But you can see the standings on the left, by the way. If XL lose this game, and really the position they're in, this should be a Vitality win. It'll mean they will join Misfits Gaming and SK Gaming in a tie for 8th place. 8, 9, 10 out of playoff contention, and Vitality 1 step closer to that playoff spot.
Yeah, but this is a must-win for Excel when you consider they still have to play Fnatic next week, G2 in their final game of the split. So when you're in this position, this is the game that you absolutely have to be able to take.
Yeah, we'll see if there's some comeback mechanics. I mean, there is some scaling on their side, obviously, but it just feels like the damage dealers on Vitality are so far ahead. When Jiizuke is playing as confidently as he has been throughout this game, especially from the laning phase. When Cabo is fed so much, those are the danger players, and you can't deny the fact that the rest of Vitality are also playing well. As a team, they've cleaned up, and they're looking pretty good.
Yeah, they definitely are, and the next play for them has to be trying to use this pressure in the mid lane to try and knock out that tower up top side. You know, I was maybe thinking Jiizuke wants to roam on over here with the wave building up top lane. That top inner was relatively low here, and with all the threat of sweeping away vision inside the river, inside the jungle, I mean, just look at all the zombie wards littering inside XL's blue buff side of the map. They need to be able to now transition the pressure from mid lane into these side lanes, try and knock down towers.
Oh, Cabochard almost takes out Mickey. That's going to be enough to get Mystique's ultimate out. In fact, now the rest of Vitality are putting pressure down the mid lane, and now the tower's under siege.
Yep, not going to be able to siege this down too easily, though, with the wave clear coming through from Excel. This is why I want to see Vitality try and shift between multiple lanes a little bit more quickly now. You know, it's 21 minutes into the game. They don't need to try and blitz down the Baron immediately. Try to play through multiple lanes here to try and knock down more towers and get more gold.
Take a page out of Fnatic's book and how they, you know, push multiple lanes at the same time. I haven't been checking in items in a little while, and you can see that Static Shift was just picked up by Jiizuke. Attila's got another BF sword and that Warhammer to back up the Blade of the Ruined King. Triforce at almost eye edge for Mickey, but he's a bit behind the power curve, and he still needs more time to ramp up.
Yeah, gonna mean a lot more minutes here for Excel to be able to come back. The most important item, though, I think, is maybe Cabochard finishing off that Morella Nomicon, specifically in this matchup up against the Aatrox, who's also going for the The lifesteal item there with Death's Dance as his second, a little bit more CDR there too. That item's going to have a whole lot of value.
And while we've been talking about items, Essence Reaver now for Attila. So again, this gold lead, 6,000 up, nearly 7,000 in fact, leaning towards Vitality. Wow, I can't do math, it is only 6. But they are making the Baron play. So side lane's not the priority. If I look at this minimap, Ender, Jiizuke, Cabochard correction, making his way down mid, while Jiizuke shoved top. Down bottom, it looks like it's already been dealt with, and it looks like mid-prio for Vitality.
Yeah, Vitality are going 1-4-0 at the moment, not putting anyone bottom lane to try and make a power move, to try and set up control inside the enemy jungle. You see all those things try and push out the minion waves, move into this blue buff side of the map for Excel, and clear away control wards. At the same time, the Cabochard now moves down into the bottom lane after the vision is gained.
Now, the one thing I do like is if a team wanted to play the side lane, Vitality can. They have a history of it. They have players that know how to, and look, the tower is down. And with the gold lead and the comp they have, they can also force Baron and turn and blow XL up.
Yeah, they definitely can. That was the play we were waiting for Vitality to make, to knock down that tower. Now, there is a teleport advantage for Expect in the top lane at the moment, so Vitality have to be a little bit more cautious about maybe forcing a play around the Baron, unless they want to try and move Cabochard out of that lane a little bit faster.
Okay, Cabochard was hinting at it. He was pushing the wave into that bottom inner turret and then cheating towards red buff, as you can see on your screen. The rest of Vitality pushing through middle. So the tension is starting to build. This is looking more and more favorable for Vitality. Somebody's going to try to steal this one away. Not going to secure it, but he will deny it from either of the ADs on XL.
And you can see Vitality can move over towards this Baron right now, denying all the vision here with 2 control wards, both in and outside of the pit. You're going to have to use the True Shot Barrage, try and scout it out. Gets a lot of damage down onto the members of Vitality. And they realize, hey, they're not willing to start up just yet.
Now, of course, if you look at Vitality, I think it's a very risky Baron because Mowgli's got AP. He's got the Hourglass, the Sork Shoes. That is not a particularly beefy Gragas. And while they have a ton of damage to try and burn through it, if they get poked down, you add some of the AoE from Aatrox, Jarvan, Corki, Ezreal, they can get caught out. So tentative, slow, defensive around Baron because, again, their comp and their itemization, not the greatest.
Yeah, I wonder if Vitality, I wonder if they even need to play the Baron game at this point right now. You know, with the strength of their 4-man group around the mid, they could push out that lane so quickly to maybe try and focus more on Cabochard and enabling him to knock down this tower, give him a little bit more pressure, because right now it feels like Vitality are a little bit hesitant to pull the trigger on anything. A lot to do with the fact, as you mentioned, maybe a little bit more difficult to tank up that Baron, even with the healing coming in from that Yuumi.
When you look at the damage on the Vitality side and the fact that Mowgli has gone very heavy AP, what do you make of the decision?
I mean, I'm a fan of it personally, you know, especially the only magic damage you're going to be getting really is through this Akali, and also it's just the best build on Gragas at the moment. I think having the ability to just like blow someone up makes mid-game fights a whole lot more favorable on this pick.
Well, it seems to be working thus far. 8 kills to 6. If you keep looking at the CS numbers, by the way, plus, you know, 60, 70 for Cabo, plus 50 in the mid lane for Jiizuke, plus nearly 25 for Attila. Every member of Vitality has farmed themselves up an advantage. And it's working in their favor. So the Baron game continues. The vision simply not there for XL. And Vitality, they've got all the pressure, they've got all the time in the world right now, but they do need to be a little careful because Infinity Edge was completed for Mickey. Gunblade completed for Jeskla. Mowgli's the one that's caught out. Here comes the rest of Vitality. Mowgli's already down. Cabo can clean up from behind. Jiizuke throws down the buster shot onto Mickey. Now Cabo, he's looking to clear it out. Jeskla stays alive a few seconds longer. Mystique running away with his life. True Shot Barrage not going to be enough. Jiizuke flashes forward, gets caught by the Mystic Shot. The slow is enough to save Jeskla.
Jiizuke just barely not able to finish off that kill. Now Vitality lose their jungler. They don't have anyone to try and tank up this Baron, so they're not going to be able to convert into an objective.
This is where you got to be careful. That gold lead becomes less and less significant the longer the game goes. And Expect to complete the teleport and we'll get a little bit of damage onto this tower.
Yeah, maybe even able to knock that one down here if he had a little bit extra time, but instead just going to back away and reclaim vision control over this river. We see this fight one more time because Mowgli steps up very aggressively to try and knock out this ward, but at the same time, Cabochard had already made the rotation on up here. So even though Mowgli goes down immediately in this team fight, Cabochard has a beautiful flank here on towards Jeskla. He ends up not being able to quite finish off the kill because of an exhaust and the Devour coming through from Mystiques, but the damage was done. Where Vitality were able to group up into that funnel, XL had to split apart, and that meant Vitality could keep chasing for a couple kills.
Well, I have to get, you know, It's a bold call from XL in this position to go for that all-in, but they do have the damage, and that's what I was mentioning just before. Eye-Edge on Corki, Gunblade on Jeskla's Ezreal. If Vitality are a little bit out of position with their very squishy champions, they can get killed.
Well, it is interesting looking at these two team compositions. Even though it's Vitality with the lead, I feel like we never have a team fight unless Excel opt into it. Because how do Vitality actually start it off? Maybe a flank from Akali, but even then you don't have great CC to set up. You have a Yuumi support and maybe a body slam flash. That's how you get something going. But Excel have a lot of tools to opt out as well with the Ezreal and the Tahm.
Oh man, I'm clenching. All of XL are hiding in the bush. Mickey, he's going to get devoured. There goes the Gragas cast. He manages to catch Mystiques. And Mystiques is down. There was no vision. There was no Cataclysm. And there was no chance for XL.
So Mickey just opted into that team fight, and Mystiques paid the price. Cabochard is still pushing down in that bottom lane. 27 minutes into the game. Vitality, you're going to get a Baron buff unless XL can TP in and try to stop it.
Oh man, they've got to be so fast. True Shot Barrage does a lot of damage. XL are making it range. 3,000 hit points. Here comes Expect. Here comes Mickey. That's a Mystic Shot that's already got one. Now Attila's the target. Oh, Mickey, you're so fine. You're so fine. You blow my mind. He's looking to take down Cabo. Cabo in a 1v3. He's going to get caught out. Jeskla jumps forward. Cabo goes golden, and he's taken down. Jeskla gets a double. Mowgli's running for his life, and XL are right back in it.
Jeskala's going to keep chasing him, force Mowgli out of the pit. The Tomcatch ulti is coming in. XL, they took the fight. They won the fight down 7,000 gold. They're going to be the ones starting up the Baron.
You have to question the mid-game. Could Vitality have done that differently? Mowgli, smite available to him. He needs to pull off a hero play.
Yeah, but Jeskla can just turn around and instantly kill him. He goes unstoppable.
XL, fa-la-la-la-la. They managed to turn it around. Baron will be secured now. Attila and Jactroll making their way in. The prowling projectile will tag Caedrel. He sacrifices himself. Mystique should be the next victim as well, as yet another projectile will tag him. It's a double for Attila.
Yeah, so that's going to be a little bit of a power play for a moment here coming through from Vitality. 35-second death timer should delay a lot of the ability for XL to push with this Baron buff, but with the respawn timers just coming up for Vitality, they can't actually use the numbers advantage on the field to get anything for themselves.
All right, so 12 kills to 15. It is still a 5,000 gold lead to Vitality as we're about to hit 30 minutes, but that is becoming less significant. And this is where I thought XL could have pulled the trigger, but they didn't.
Yeah, I mean, Mickey goes in. The rest of the team's like, wait a second, we don't actually want to make this play. Even though they had brought up Expect, they were thinking, maybe we need to wait a little bit longer. But here's where it all goes awry for Vitality. They take a huge True Shot Barrage, and then both Expect and Jeskla dealing so much damage inside of this team fight, rather. With Jeskla not getting touched at all, it seems. Able to be able to kite from this Cabochard very, very easily. Expect, again, doing a lot of damage coming up forward there to pick up the kill on towards Jiizuke, and then just winning out big time.
Now, of course, it started with Mickey picking up the kill, and it was finished with Jeskla on this Ezreal, who has now picked up a Luden's Echo, by the way. As you can see in the picture-in-picture, the mid tower has finally fallen. That is the first tower secured for Excel Esports, and despite a terrible early game for Mickey, he's managed to find his way back in. Got a Guardian Angel picked up. The stats you're looking at on your screen are from his wins yesterday, or in his win yesterday against Splice. That Mickey now needs to keep playing if they want to turn this game around.
And he's at a very good point on this Corki, going a little bit more defensive in itemization. His third purchase there was the Guardian Angel, as opposed to a little bit extra critical strike here, knowing that Cabochard's ability to jump onto the backline is going to be very, very potent, and he was a prime target for Cabo to try and find out. Now with that Baron buff, he's in the side lane, but Vitality are just grouping up 5 members around the mid lane.
Okay, we've spoken a lot about Vitality. They had the lead, they were playing very well. Now the pressure is on XL. They've got Baron on 3 members. They've lost the mid in a turret, and the teleport or the recall from Mickey will
No,
be
he shouldn't go
cancelled.
through it. Because they have the wave clear here, they can just stop the reset. Now Vitality, they want to find the 5 versus 5. That's going to be the ultimate coming through.
It will. The barrel's not going to be enough. Mystique does get chunked low. Keep your eyes in the picture. Mickey's pushing the base.
Yeah, Cabochard is trying to get his recall off. It finally comes on through here, and Mickey will not commit forward on towards that tower. He didn't know if Jiizuke had also gone back to base, so instead he TPs back with that reset, and XL will not push for more.
3 towers secured during the course of Baron, plus 2,000 on the Baron power play. Jeskla, 7-1-3 on that Ezreal, and I think credit to Mystique underneath the tower. He got the Devour on the right target, so the Gragas barrel did not single anybody out, and crucially, didn't send him with a friend into Vitality.
Yeah, it's really important there because, again, there's only that one big ability Vitality have. They have the Cask and I guess the Yuumi ult to try and set up these team fights. If Excel can stop that from happening immediately, they can then utilize Mickey in a side lane to a very, very strong effect.
Okay, the third dragon of the game. Once this is secured, Elder will be next. Look at the minimap. Expect is pushing the outer turret. This will be the fourth. In a matter of 2.5, 3 minutes, XL have picked up kills, Baron, multiple towers, and they truly reset this game. Now, the Prowling Projectile won't find a target yet. Mickey gets a really good chunk of damage onto Mowgli, and there is a potential fight here. Ender, you mentioned if XL can find it, they will.
If they can find the good fight here, but that's going to be the hard thing to go for, especially whenever Cabochard is in the fight. I want to flip over to the gold on the scoreboard at the moment because it's still Vitality control. Look at the difference between top laners. That is 3,000 gold in favor of Cabochard. Mid lane as well, going very well for Vitality. It is up to Jiizuke and Cabochard on Vitality's side to carry the weight of the gold they've been given, the gold they've been trusted with to carry in these fights.
Oh, I love that. Carry the weight of the gold. It means these are the guys that have to find the kills, make sure they use their abilities correctly to win the fights. Because if they don't, Jeskla on Ezreal with this, hybrid build will run you down, chase you down, keep you at range. He's happy in extended fights.
Yeah, and the really hard thing, especially in Cabochard's mind here, is knowing the right time to go in for the fight because he's always going to have a target on Jeskla's back. But Jeskla, he has so many defensive tools. He has a Tahm Kench next to him with exhaust as well. So Cabochard should, in theory, be entering these fights much later in, where Jiizuke can start off, try to burst down the front line, and then wait until those key cooldowns like the Devour are down before Cabochard makes his move.
I really thought this game was over 13 minutes ago. I really thought Vitality, with the lead that Cabochard had built up, with the way that he was playing Ender, meant they were just going to close this game out, but Vitality didn't. So now XL have hope. The UK underdogs are back in the game, and their hope at a 4-0, their hope at playoffs is alive. Quickly look at their strength of schedule. Fnatic, Origin, SKG2. That is terrifying.
It doesn't get easier from here on out for Excel. It's literally like they're trying to crawl up the mountain. They might think they're at the top right now. They've won 3 games in a row, but they're not even halfway there yet.
This is a fantastic undefeated run. If XL were to make it with this strength of schedule, bouncing back from this early game, then it would be named the Miracle Run. But it starts with winning this game. It starts with going 4-0, or rather, it continues with going 4-0. And I feel like we've reset the game. I really don't think this gold lead truly makes a monumental difference right now. And now we have to look. Baron up in a couple minutes time. Elder up in a couple minutes time. Baron is already available. Vision is being challenged, and it comes down to execution.
Yeah, so we've seen a big change in the control over the map currently. Vitality actually going to commit the TP in from Attila, try and get control over that mid lane wave, which Excel should have had prio on, with Jeskla being on this Ezreal pick where he can hit the wave first. But right now, Vitality have a big wave building up in the bottom lane, a wave pushing down mid lane as well. This is their window to now move into the enemy jungle once they see Excel show on Vision, clear away wards, and then set up to contest this wave in the mid lane one more time.
Oh man, okay, so Vision now been challenged, push back. Jiizuke did not step into that red buff bush, so the ward is still there for Excel.
Yeah, and the problem for Vitality now is they have no sweepers off the cooldown. They have to wait a little bit longer on those, and also only one control ward to be placed. So it's very hard to take control over this Baron, which means that Excel, once the minion waves die, then can try to, get their footing back in. They can walk in as 5 members because they do have that strong front line to be able to face check into the enemy Vision.
Well, I'll take a look at the items just before these next fights break out. 2 GAs on the side of XL. Mortal Reminder was picked up by Jeskla. He's at full build. Vitality waiting in the wings. Cabo just sitting on the flank. Ender, you've said it time and time again, Cabo has to pick the right opportunity to go in. And a key Mowgli ultimate or a key Jactroll ultimate really could be the difference maker. I mean, truthfully, so good the Buster shot. As expected, is going to get tagged here. Final chapter comes up. The rest of XL are already in range. Look at Jactroll's HP. It's been melted.
Gotta be able to hop into Jiizuke and back away here. Again, both teams sort of ignoring side lanes at the moment, just jockeying for position over the mid. Now, Cabochard finally goes down bottom lane. We're also going to see Attila and Jactroll reset to try and push out topside as well. Seems like Vitality, because Excel aren't making a move, Vitality need to split up to all three lanes, get those lanes pushing on forward so they can have the pressure to once again move in to the Baron area and put down control wards.
It looks like Vitality are setting up the lanes, as you mentioned. As you can see at the bottom of your screen, vote now in chat if you are watching. Will Excel's miracle run continue? Type yes or no, and we'll track the votes in a minute. Here in Berlin, there's a lot of Excel fans murmuring yes, almost afraid, almost tentative to yell it.
They don't want to jinx it.
No, they absolutely do not. And Excel and Vitality, they're going to have an Elder and a Baron to fight over. Now Elder is up. It's not going to be the most powerful, but it is a big objective that could help secure the win.
Yeah, I think the play has to be to try to send someone to solo out that objective, if not try to find a flank here, because right now Excel have control over the Baron area. Vitality can't commit walking on down here because Excel are starting up the Nash.
Oh man, Baron Nashor has been started. Predator available for Mowgli if he wants to get in. Look at the minimap though. Attila's not there.
Yeah, Vitality are calling the bluff on Excel. Excel are going to back away while Attila can walk over to this Elder Dragon. This is a really smart call from Vitality. They knew Excel were not going to be willing to commit onto that objective, and Excel aren't going to be able to get down there.
No, they can't. It's taking a lot of time for Attila to finish this one off though. Excel, they can't go Baron. They can't find the fight, and this should be a Vitality buff. Excel still committed to either objective.
Yeah, Excel have to go back because now they know what's happening. The Elder Dragon did go down. Excel are committing towards this play, but it's an Elder Dragon on the side of Vitality. It could be what they need to turn the tides of the fight.
Down below half health, Mowgli throws up the ultimate. Caedrel's gonna get popped. His GA in the pit.
Mystiques!
Manages to pick it up. The culling and the chapter's thrown down. Caedrel goes out. He tries to put the counter down. Vitality man just done it. It's 3 kills to Vitality. Excel, the run may not continue. Excel made a play, and it did not work.
Excel tried so hard to force around that objective, but in the heat of the moment, Vitality made the smart, calculated calls. The run will not continue for Excel. Vitality will take the win.
They absolutely will. It was hard fought in the mid-game, but Vitality smashed the early game, and they smashed Excel in the Baron pit. Vitality goes 7-7 to end the week. I believed, man. I believed. I thought it was going to happen. But Vitality made the right late game call.
Yeah, and it was a hard call to make there as well, because Excel thought they had the advantage in the team fight. 6 items on Jeskla. He was so powerful in this game. They wanted to get Vitality to run into them, to take that 5v5, but instead Vitality, they called the bluff. Yeah. They knew that Excel were not trying to commit to the Baron. They were just trying to use the objective to start up the fight, and that's why splitting up, stealing away that Elder Drake without Excel even knowing was such a clutch call.
I really enjoyed this game. I was happy to see the progression in comparison to our first game of the day. And Vitality, despite a very, very shaky start to summer, they are finding some rhythm. Cabo on Akali was great. Jiizuke on Trist, very, very comfortable. Now, admittedly, it is against Excel. It's against a team that is now tied the bottom of the table. But this is some confidence, this is some form that Vitality are finding just in the nick of time.
Yeah, and for this team that's been trying to regroup after disappointing spring split, rather, they're still going to be looking to improve off of this game. You know, the mid game was a little bit shaky. They weren't able to seize all the opportunities that did come their way.
It's funny because the word shaky is where I get tripped up, right? Their mid game, I almost feel like they didn't commit to a strategy. You know, they challenged, they try to set up Baron Vision, they kind of like faffed around in a side lane, but unlike what we see from the likes of a Fnatic or a G2 when they get that advantage, they're much more equipped to push it.
Right, and the easy thing to point to is their composition had a lot of damage. It didn't necessarily have the tools to try and start up a team fight. That's the easy call to make, but we see a lot of our top teams without those tools that you need to start off fights. They use pressure so well, and I think that's where Vitality can definitely look to try and push a little bit more when they have these leads around very strong soul laners, trying to transition between lane to lane and force down towers is going to be very key.
Yeah, very, very key. At the end of the day, it is Vitality that pick up the win. They now go 7-7. And of course, to give you your nominees for Key Up Player of the Game, head over to @LOLesports on Twitter. Vote for either Cabochard, Mowgli, or Jiizuke. It's actually a very difficult one for me, and I'm not sure where I would vote.
I think it's hard, right? I think Mowgli had some key plays, especially finding, the multiple kills to get Cabochard ahead, but then Cabochard's Akali was a big driving factor, in the early mid-game for Vitality to snowball ahead. So you can really go any direction with this one.
You absolutely can, and personal preference on who you feel is more deserving is who you should vote for. Just very quickly, before we talk a little bit about XL and now some of the challenges they're in, I have a very small side story to tell you. I can see Cabochard is busy getting set up for an interview with Law. And some of you may or may not know, here in the LEC, we do a very small sort of talk show over on the Facebook LOL Esports page. We call it AFK. Earlier today, Law appeared on AFK, and she told me that Cabochard has denied her interview requests forever, right?
What's up with that?
I don't know. We'll have to find out. So I asked the AFK squad if they could convince Cabo to say yes. I can see him sitting there. So job well done to AFK. And you guys can check out the VODs if you go head over to Facebook page. So yeah, thank you. Two golf clubs. Actually, the interview's ready. So we're not going to talk about XL. Let's head over to Law and Cabo.
Thank you, guys, and thank you all for the social media pressure on Cabochard because he obviously agreed for the interview today. Thank you, Cabo, for joining me. First competitive game on Akali. How was it? Because you popped up here.
I think besides the last team fight where actually they won 4v5, I didn't play it. The rest of the game, it was mostly on macro that was not so good. We managed to get some advantages through lane early, and we should have snowballed much more. So yeah, I will look forward to review it and see what we missed. And
you managed to make XL run in a way. I have a first replay to show you here on bot lane where you TP in, they initiate the fight with the Valkyrie in, but they're really misplaced. So tell me what happened here.
So here we're just controlling space. We know we have top push, so if we start the fight here, they're gonna miss top farm, and we know we are stronger right now, so we're just looking to force around the enemy red buff. In the end, the trade was like 3-4-2, so I think we could have played better. Yeah. And then after, actually, the problem with that is that I don't have TP when Nash spawns, so that's problematic for like the 20 minutes around. So yeah.
I agree with it. I also feel like it's the reason you managed to pick the advantage in the early game, because they were trying to create some plays around the map and they lost some TPs. You managed to take the first tower top lane. And was it a plan for you to just play with them and get them lost on the map?
Yeah. That's what we wanted to do, but I think we failed on two occasions, mainly in bot lane when we know they have TP advantage and we still look to force and they get like 3 kills. For me, it's not as bad because I'm getting platings and farm advantage, but in the end, we should look to lose less when we do this kind of plays. And after the moment we take Rift and Caedrel dies, it's pretty big for them. They almost lose top tower, and after that, I'm really far ahead. We can just snowball through me. Yeah.
But then something didn't happen, and that's where I want to see the second replay here. It's the first Baron attempt from XL. You guys get wiped here. Tell me what happened. We see they initiate to try to fight back.
I think they get a good kill first, and then it's just 4v4 for them. I think we should just look for me to pressure more because they are not sending anyone bot lane. We don't have to pressure so much here. But then we're looking to fight anyways, and it's just a 4v5 when we started Nash. So
Gotcha.
If we wait for me to pressure, then they have to answer into bot lane, and then we can force way easier into here, I think.
And everything becomes more complicated starting from this. And I want to talk about the last action, the one that gets you the game in the end. You have to choose between Elder Dragon and Baron. You send Attila bot lane alone to do the Elder Dragon. I guess he can't because of the Blade of the Rune King. And then you guys join him at Baron. So talk me about this play. How did you set it up? Why did you decide to go for the Elder first and then go to Baron?
Yeah, the main difference between these two big objectives is that the Elder, just you can send your AD almost every time and he will solo it easily. So we just have to manage to 4v5 them around Nash. And in the meantime, we let him solo. Jarvan actually died to Nash only, I think, because he was building mostly AD. But then, yeah, we wiped them because they were low from Nash and we had Elder.
Awesome. Now, it's a 2-0 week for Vitality.
Finally.
Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, we're definitely playing better, even though yesterday, well, G2, yeah, they had Garen, etc. I think we created good advantages from bot and jungle. Mowgli had a really good read on how to play the game yesterday, and it went pretty smoothly. We are trying to play less aggressive in mid-game now, and we can feel it. We just don't go as much for displays, and it makes the mid-game much more slower. I guess we have some kind of PTSD from before when we just threw every game, so we're a bit too far on the other end of the spectrum now, but we're trying to get better on this.
Well, let's see what you guys can do in the weeks to come. Thank you, Cabo, for joining me. We still have so much to say about this game, so let's send it over to post-game. Take it away, guys.
Thank you, Law. Very insightful interview with Cabochard there, and first time we managed to get him with Law, apparently, so that's great. I want to start off at the very beginning here with the draft. You guys were talking about it. Talk to me about each of these drafts, what you did and didn't like.
So, we got to start off with how Vitality were able to get themselves 3 winning lane matchups. The thing is, Vitality really like red sides, right? Whenever they get the choice, they go red side, red side, red side. And a large part of it is because they want to give Cabochard the counter pick. In this game, they did a bit of swapping by putting the Akali up top lane and then saving the Tristana for last pick. And what this actually allowed them to do is they get Lucian, well, I've forgotten Yuumi now. Yuumi now, that's the name, in the bot lane to guarantee a very strong 2 versus 2. They get a winning matchup because they counterpick the Tristana into the Corki, and Akali they know does very well into the Aatrox that was blind picked as a safe pick from the side of XL. So this means that coming into the game, Vitality already have 3 winning lanes that they can look to play around. So this is great in terms of the early game, and expectations are that it should just heavily go in their favor.
And that's absolutely how it started, right? And I feel like things were flowing really well for Vitality until the first replay we have, the XL counter gank, that actually started to muddy thing a little bit. It was a situation where Vitality were trying to smash and grab. They're feeling strong, they're feeling like they can take the maximum, but it all went wrong, even though the initial parts of the play looked pretty good from the side of Vitality.
Yeah, I think that one of the things that we see here is it's very difficult for XL to find opportunities, and ideally they want to be looking to make cross-map plays whenever Mowgli is attacking one side of the map. But what they don't respect is the fact that Expect has a teleport advantage over Cabochard. So they overcommit in making this counter gank play happen, which then gets XL onto the board early.
And that's how you deal with priority lanes. You don't draft Aatrox to get priority. To win lane, he's usually competitive, and then it's the skirmishes and team fights where he's succeeds. That replay there almost undid all of the good work around the strong draft because multiple kills come in, the TP timing, beautiful on XL's side. Expect always good at those lane roams, but we still got a reminder of why priority lanes can be so powerful and what priority means, because it's kind of a buzzword we talk about a lot. Pushing lanes is something that in solo queue gets you ganked, so it's one of those things that's a bit weird. It's like, okay, I can push, that's great, but when do I push? Priority in general always gives you things, and I actually wanted to take the viewers through the second replay that we have, specifically around how a situation that was set up, as you can see in the replay, around the Rift Herald by XL. Remember, we know they don't have priority anywhere. It's 3 priority winning lanes for Vitality, so they try to find a time to take the Rift Herald, they get it low, but Vitality find it easy to roam over, contest the Rift Herald, they pick up a kill on the objective, and you think, is that where it's done? It's actually much more than that, because XL are trying to take an objective against priority, against having strong lanes around it. They lose 2 plates, as you could see, on the top side, trying to roam to stop that. In the mid lane, Jiizuke comes in, gets another plate. It actually ended up being 4 turret plates altogether and a kill. Over 1,000 gold, just because XL dared to try to answer this early priority Vitality.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have the whole scope here. In the end, XL kind of had that little Baron play where they came back, and Vitality ended up sort of closing out here. I mean, it was a very back-and-forth game. XL kind of fought their way back into it just at the end.
So what I think is what that game ended up being is we saw a great early to mid game, largely from Vitality. I think that they did a lot of things very well. Where they faltered was how they executed their comp. We got to hear a little bit from Cabochard, where the Akali was the strong point, and they needed to leverage that on a side lane and try and either set up a 1-3-1 or play towards him. And they had these choices, but instead they tried to control Baron while also trying to play through bot. And because they divided their resources, it actually gave XL a lot of opportunities to come back into the game.
The happy thing about getting a big lead, the happy thing about getting the extra farm from the priority is you can trip up a little bit and you won't necessarily take a mortal blow. So yes, execution for a good 15 minutes. It kind of felt like we knew the victors of the game around kind of 17 minutes, but the game went on and on because they couldn't quite get that right set up with unanswerable Akali and also a Baron play. Eventually it kind of fell into the laps, but I will call out really nice setup around the Elder Dragon, just sending your AD carry to solo it. We had that classic replay of the, spring 2018 final before the games went live today, and Deficio makes the same point about, your AD carry eventually can solo down Elder Dragon, so not a lot has changed there, but you don't see it that much, so shout out to Vitality for bringing that one back.
Sure, and obviously Cabochard had a brilliant game. He is, in fact, our Kia player of the game with 55% of the vote, so well done, Cabochard. I think while they didn't manage to leverage him in his entirety, he definitely had a great individual performance, but I can't really, unfortunately, spend much more time on this game. We have to move on, so after the break, we'll be coming in with our next game. We'll see you soon.